Welcome to English with Leanne. Today we have the phrasal verb to take on, and we have six definitions or six uses. I think it's 5 definitions and 1 extra phrase. Our first definition of to take on is to hire as an employee. So you might hear someone say, I'm getting too old to do this. I need to take on an employee. Notice I use take on an employee. I could say I need to take someone on, or I need to take on another person to help me with this work. This is something you might also hear when someone talks about an apprentice. An apprentice is a younger person that you hire to teach them how to do the work. So you might say, I took on an apprentice last year. He's doing really well. Our next definition of to take on is to be willing or ready to meet an adversary, to meet someone that you are in conflict with, an adversary. So you might hear your kid say, I'm too scared to take on the bully at school. Ooh. So he's too scared to confront, to go up to the bully and say, hey, stop that. So he's too scared to take on, so he can't take on this person. If someone is playing a game, you might say, okay, it's time to take on the boss. And the boss in a video game is normally the big evil guy. So if you're ready to take on the boss, you're ready to defeat him, you are ready to win the game, or try to. The third definition of to take on is to accept and do a responsibility, often a difficult one. So if I say, oh gosh, I'm too busy to take that on. Ooh, I just said I'm too busy to do that. I can't accept that. I'm not going to be able to do it. You'll also hear this definition used a lot when you are giving someone advice, where you might say, don't take on too much, which means don't accept and try to do too much. Our fourth definition is to acquire a meaning or quality. That means that over time or through some action, something gets a new quality or meaning. For example, in the holidays, the mall might take on a festive air because of all of the decorations. Or, very common, you'll notice this when learning languages, that different expressions take on new meanings over time. So this is to change a little bit and to gain a new quality or meaning. Our fifth definition is not going to have an example because it is a British definition and it is not a way that we use it in America, so it's not one that I can use. I read examples of it and not for me. And that definition is to needlessly become very upset. And none of the examples I read for this worked for me. I would not have understood them if I heard them. So this is a specifically British use. I haven't heard it. But we do have a phrase, so don't leave just yet. And the phrase is for a take on something. A. Notice we've gone from to take on to a take on. Now, a take on something is an opinion on something. So you could say to someone, what's your take on what's happening in our nation? Ooh, wow. Now you asked for their opinion on what's happening in your nation, in your country. Or what's your take on the newest style the kids are wearing? Ooh, what's your opinion on the clothes people are wearing? So what's your take on would be a way to ask someone for their opinion. But you could also say something like, oh, you don't want to hear my take on that new movie. I think you might like it, but I didn't. Okay, So you don't want to hear my opinion, all the details and such on the new movie, because I think you'll like it even though I hated it. So take a look here at all of our definitions of to take on, and at the bottom also a take on. And good luck with this phrasal verb.